Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the art of storytelling for children and its wonderful benefits. Storytelling is an ancient tradition, and it's likely it has been around for as long as human language. People back in the day would gather around in evening fire and tell wonderful stories. I'm sure you've heard of it. There were no books, television, internet, so people relied on storytelling to pass information, events, stories, lessons learned, knowledge, and wisdom. It was part of culture back in the day. Children still love storytelling. My children love storytelling. So today we're going to be talking about storytelling, how to do storytelling with your children of all ages. And with us today, we have an expert in the matter. We have Connie Manson. She enjoys sharing the magic of puppetry, music, and storytelling professionally for families in libraries, festivals, and schools across the country. She supports teachers and parents in storytelling, music making, puppet and crafting, and performance. I am so delighted that I came upon her work because I think it's a wonderful tool for storytelling, for dance and movement. Right now, she's currently working on a resource book, A Journey Through Spring. She has a lot of experience in the field. She teaches the Merrily Parent Child classes and music classes for grades 1 through 5 at Suncoast Waldorf School in Florida. Her husband, Peter Chin, accompanies her musically and performances. Welcome, Connie. It is such a pleasure to talk with you today. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate it, JD. Thank you.
I'm really excited about this talk. This is a dear subject to my heart. I love telling stories to my children, and I have been doing so since they were babies. I think I'm running out of ideas now, but and I that's how I came upon your work, and I'm really excited to share with the listeners today about storytelling. So let's start off and talk about why do you think storytelling is important for children? What are some of the benefits?
That's a wonderful question. And I really love the introduction you just gave about storytelling and the history of it, because that's part of, if you look at a child, how they reflect in
Yes.
their development, the development of our culture. Right.
Yes.
So I'll just share some thoughts here. Storytelling is important because it provides a foundational building block upon
Hmm.
which literacy is built. Genuine living literacy grows from a love of language and a thirsting for stories.
Hmm.
Through storytelling, one engages in the fundamental activity of listening, and a profound connection of warmth is created because there's no barrier between the teller and the child. This allows the child to be completely at one with the story. And while hearing a story, a child is visualizing everything the story is saying. Puppetry and drama help awaken and strengthen this process. And in storytelling, the imagination blossoms, both for the receiver and the teller. Through stories, activities such as baking, setting the table, or picking up toys can be, can be introduced or reinforced. Stories can also help a child gain perspective on behavior and so discover a deeper sense of who they are.
Hmm. Yes, yes, definitely. New storytelling um, for so many different reasons. Definitely storytelling, I agree with you. It opens a child's mind to
Mm.
imagination and creative thinking because they have to provide their own imagery to the stories that they're hearing. So the images are not being provided like in television or in a picture book.
Mhm.
So there's so many wonderful benefits, and thank you so much for sharing those with us. And so a
Sure.
lot of parents sometimes they really don't know how to get started. They they find this task a little hard for them to tell their children stories as silly as it may sound, because this is something that people have been doing for such a long time. Can you share with us how parents or teachers can get started with storytelling?
Yes, yes, I have a few suggestions to get things going. I know that one can start, parents, teachers can start by telling simple stories about their own childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they went to
Yes.
explore, and where they played and what they played when they were little, or a memorable trip to the zoo, or a special activity that happened with family or friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that when telling stories to young children, especially, it really helps to use lots of action words, lots
Mm-hmm.
of doing words. Um, and I'll give you an example about what I mean in just a moment when I tell a
Oh,
story.
sure.
I think what I think is a helpful image is to look at the art of storytelling as a seed. When planted and tended, it grows and flourishes. You just need to start, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the important part, is to take the seed and plant it and
Yes.
begin. Now, another nice way to begin storytelling could be to do something like set up a bird feeder or put
Mm-hmm.
out some nuts for the squirrels, and then spend time every
Oh,
day observing
yes.
them and imaginatively go from there. For example, what might the squirrel do next once they stuff nuts into their cheeks and scurry away?
Mm-hmm.
Ask the
Yes.
question to yourself and see what images come. And you also use the events that happen that day in storytelling
Oh,
form.
yes.
For example, name the little boy in your story a different name from that of your child. However, isn't it a wonder that the little boy in the story often does the same things that your own child does? you know, it helps the child digest the day, and develop a perspective,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
that's what I would share as ways to get started.
Yes, I think those are great ways. Stories about even their babyhood and family
Hmm?
stories. Um, some parents also, would you say that some parents can memorize some stories, like some books, some actual books that they've read? What do you think about that? Or
Certainly, that's
one
a
way to
great
start?
way. Another thing that you can do, and when I gave you those, I gave you some links, and some of the links I gave took you to storybooks that have no words, so
Yes,
you can sit together and look at a picture, and then let a story come from the picture.
yes,
So that's
yes.
another way too, on
That
top of
is.
what you just mentioned.
Yes, that
The
is
way,
because those picture books, they can be told so many different ways. It just has the pictures, and then every time you open the book, it can be a different story.
yeah.
Sometimes children actually start adding to the story. When I tell my children stories, my daughters sometimes say, and an owl came, and they just keep on going with the story. So sometimes they even add to the story, and it becomes very interesting. So
Yes, that's wonderful what you said. Just something very quickly just to add to that. I know in my classroom on Beeswax Day, I'm telling a little nature story, and I put a few things out for us to create a scene. So that's
yes,
something nice to do, before a story, and then the next time you go around and tell a story again, they remember that story, and so they'll
yes,
set up little scenarios. With cloths and wood, pieces of wood. Well, here's the fairy house. Here's the little pond where they can fish.
yes.
So that can help build stories too.
Definitely, definitely. And also another thing that I've also utilized storytelling is if I see anything that my children are afraid of, sometimes it can be a doctor's visit. I'll just make up a character and talk about a little girl or maybe a little animal going to visit the doctor's office and talk about the story, and it relieves a lot of anxiety sometimes. So you can use storytelling to tackle problems that children are going through.
Hmm.
So that's another great thing also.
Yes, that's wonderful. I often use the little animal stories too, or encourage parents to do that as well. I think that's a great way.
Yes. So I know you have an example with us for us today. So that would be great. I would love to hear the example so that some of us can learn about this wonderful art.
And what's so fun about it is how sometimes all you have to just do is start, sitting in a quiet spot and putting down something on paper. It just
Yes.
starts to have a life of its own. That's what's so exciting. So I hope that those who are listening will try writing their own stories
Yeah,
too.
I think so.
It's
I think
such
it's just,
fun.
yeah, it's just starting. I think once you put yourself in that place and you just start with a character, an animal, it just
Mhm.
flows. It flows out.
Yes, yes. So the story that I wanted to share now is one that I wrote in an upcoming resource book, the one you mentioned before, Journey Through Spring.
Yes.
And it's a story that I like to share in the early childhood classroom at the beginning of the year. to teach the children about including all friends in their play, even the new ones.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
then when I find the children needing a gentle reminder about including others, often all I have to say is a line from the story,
Oh,
which is, "Come inside and make yourself a home here." And
that's
so I
great.
also like including simple percussive instruments or a simple finger player song to enrich the story. So I thought I would start this story with a little bit of sound.
Oh,
I
great.
have a rain stick here.
Oh,
So
a
can
rain
you
stick.
hear it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. In the ocean blue, near the shore, the waves rolled this away, and they rolled that away. A seashell tumbled and tossed in the water. It rolled and then came to a stop on the sandy ocean bottom. The sun was shining brightly up above, and the little rays of sunshine danced in the water. A tiny bluefish came darting by, swimming up and swimming down, and looking all around. It saw the seashell lying there. It looked to be as big as a smooth, shining palace. It swam up to the seashell and called, shining shell, who dwells here?" But no one answered, because no one was inside. "Then I shall live here," it said, and it made a cozy home inside the shell. Along came Goldie the fish. It saw the seashell and called out, shining shell, who dwells here?" "I do, tiny blue, oh so true, and who are you?" "I am Goldie the fish who darts and dips. Come inside and make yourself a home here." And so the two of them began to live together. After a time, a little starfish came crawling by. It saw the seashell and called out, shining shell, who dwells here?" "I do, Goldie the fish who darts and dips." "I do, tiny blue, oh so true, and who are you?" "I am Sandy the starfish who carries a wish. Come inside and make yourself a home here." And so the three of them began to live together. Along came a sea turtle paddling by. He saw the seashell and called out, shining shell, who dwells here?" "I do, Sandy the starfish who carries a wish. I do, Goldie the fish who darts and dips. I do, tiny blue, oh so true, and who are you?" "I am Snappy the turtle who paddles and flips. Come inside and make yourself a home here." And so the four of them began to live together. Suddenly, there before them darted a little seahorse. He was in a great hurry. He saw the seashell and called out, "I am Horse of the Sea. Please rescue me, for an octopus he chases me. Let's bring him inside. A shelter will be." Little Horse of the Sea was safely tucked inside. The octopus came gliding by. He looked this away. He looked that away. But nothing could he spy, save a shining shell that sat near by. Said the octopus, "How could that creature disappear so fast?" Oh, so quietly the little friends sat, until at last the octopus went gliding away. And from that day on, the little friends lived ever safe and sound in their shining home on the sandy ground. And snip, snap, snout, my tale is all told out.
That was beautiful, Connie.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you.
Amazing. Every time I hear like a story from you, it's just amazing. You have a true talent. You have an amazing passion for what you do, and I can see it in your work. Um, so this story that you told here,
Mhm.
you have provided the words. So I will be linking it in the description box for the listeners. So if you want to tell
Yes.
your children or your students this wonderful story, you're going to be able to. I will provide it in the description box. So as you can see, storytelling is a wonderful way of bonding with children, of teaching children, and it has so many benefits, from language, vocabulary, imagination, creativity. It's really endless, and it's very simple. Like Connie says, all you have to do is start. And so I'm going to invite you to visit Connie's website, starlightpuppets.blogspot.com. I will link it in the description box. She has some book recommendations that I will also be linking below. And I recommend A Journey Through Autumn, now that fall is coming. It's a wonderful resource. It has music, movement, stories, and puppets. It has instructions on how to create your own puppet friends to accompany the material as well. And so check out her blog. She also has really great articles full of ideas. I love it. I love her blog. And Connie, thank you so much for sharing with us. You're amazing. Your voice is so soothing, and I can tell that you have a great passion for what you do. So continue spreading the love and joy through storytelling and puppetry.
Thank Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. And I was looking and enjoying the offerings that you're sharing too. Thank you for your desire to want to inspire and support others. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, everyone, happy storytelling. Pass on the love and the joy of storytelling with your children and students to build wonderful memories. Thank you so much for listening today. Bye bye, Connie. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Thank